Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at how to round decimals. Just a reminder that this is the short version of this lesson, so we're going to go through it pretty quickly. If you'd like the longer, sort of full-length lesson where we go step by step, I will link that in the description below. So here we have our problem in the top right. It says, what is this? Rounded to the nearest thousandth. Okay, and I put this place value chart here because maybe you're not sure about thousandths, tenths, hundredths, where is that in a decimal? Also, notice that I'm saying thousandth and I'm dragging it out a little bit because I don't want you to think I'm saying thousands, right? Thousands, thousandths, very different. So I'm going to put this into my place value chart. So 802.8492. Step one is to find your rounding position, circle it. So the thousandth is right here, so I'm going to circle the 9. All right, step one is done. Step two, look at the neighbor on the right, draw an arrow. Okay, so I'm looking at the 2, step 2 is done. All right, now for step 3, you have to decide, is the neighbor smaller than 5 or 5 or bigger? And in this case, it is smaller than 5. So we're going to do this step 3 where it says turn him into a 0 along with every number after him. So your answer is 802.8490. And with decimals, you can drop any zeros that you rounded essentially. So this is 802.849, final answer. All right, let's look at this one. So again, I'm going to put it in the chart to make it easy, 5.587. 587. Rounded to the nearest tenths position. So here's the number I'm rounding to. You look at the neighbor, which is 8. In this case, it's 5 or bigger. So we're going to do a different step 3, and it says take 1 from the neighbor. So now you have 5.6 because you took 1 from your neighbor. Then turn him and every number after him into a 0. So this becomes 0, this becomes 0. And like we said, you can drop any numbers that were neighbors or after, so 5.6 final answer. Now for this one, the wording is a little different. It says, what is 40.3 rounded to the nearest whole number? When it says whole number is just the ones position. That's all it means. So I'm looking at the 0, the neighbor is 3. Okay, it's less than 5. So my answer is just 40, and you have to put 0.0 because it said, oh, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. You have to put 40 because it said rounded to the nearest whole number. Final answer. All right, for this one, it says what is 2.99 rounded to the nearest tenth? So you circle this 9, that's the tenth. You look at its neighbor, it is 9. All right, normally, if it's 5 or bigger, you add 1, right? Well, what is 9 plus 1? Well, 9 plus 1 is 10, right? So I'm going to add 10 here. So my final answer is 3.0, and that is my final answer. Has to be 3.0. You can't put 3 because that's not rounded to the nearest tenths, like the problem said. It has to be 3.0. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 4 problems on your own. And when you are ready, you can unpause and we will check your answers. Okay, now that you've had a chance to work these problems, let's take a look at them. For number 1 here in the top left, what is 37.954 rounded to the nearest whole number? You should have put 38 because you don't circle the 9, you circle the 7, you look at the 9, it's 5 or bigger, so you add 1 and make everything else 0, 38. For number 2 here in the top right, what is 623.7979 rounded to the nearest hundredths? So hundredth is here. I look at the neighbor, okay, so I'm going to add 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, so my final answer is 623.80. 80. Another way to look at that is if you can see this as 79, right? 79 plus 1 is 80. That's another way to look at this. For number 3, what is 27.561 rounded to the nearest hundredth? Hundredth is here. Look at the neighbor, so my final answer should be 27.561. 53.6. Final answer. And 53.2 should have been your final answer here. Circle the one, look at the neighbor, take one, and be done.
All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.